Floyd Mayweather Jr., a name that echoes greatness in boxing. But behind the glitz and glory, a darker story unfolds. From heroin needles in his front yard to becoming the highest-paid athlete in the world, Mayweather's journey is anything but ordinary. Born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Floyd came from a family of fighters. His dad, Floyd Sr, was a welterweight contender. His uncles Jeff and Roger were pro boxers too. Boxing was in his blood, but so was struggle. Young Floyd's home life was tough. His mom battled drug addiction. He'd find used heroin needles in the yard. It was rough, real rough, but Floyd found his escape in the ring. He dropped out of high school to focus on boxing full time. As an amateur, Floyd was a force. He racked up 84 wins and just 8 losses. He snagged 3 Golden Gloves championships. People started calling him Pretty Boy for his looks and his ability to avoid getting hit. It was the start of something big. Floyd's amateur success set the stage for his pro career, but the road ahead wasn't smooth. As he stepped into the professional ring, he faced battles both inside and outside the ropes. Mayweather's defensive skills were unmatched. He'd slip punches like they were nothing, but while he was dodging fists in the ring, he couldn't avoid trouble outside it. The young boxer found himself in hot water with the law. In 2002, Mayweather got hit with domestic violence charges. The court slapped him with a suspended sentence and house arrest. It was a wake-up call, but not the last one. 2 years later, more legal trouble. This time, battery charges against 2 women. The judge ordered him to get counseling for impulse control. It seemed like Mayweather was fighting himself as much as his opponents, but inside the ring, he was unstoppable. In 1998, he took down Genaro Hernandez for the WBC super featherweight title. It was his first world championship. Mayweather was rising fast, despite the chaos in his personal life. The hits kept coming, though. In 2005, another battery charge, this time for hitting a bouncer. More suspended jail time, more fines. The media was all over it. Mayweather's name was in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. His biggest legal battle came in 2010. His ex-girlfriend, Josie Harris, filed a domestic battery report. The charges piled up: felony theft, coercion, robbery, and more. It was looking bad for the champ. These personal issues were like invisible opponents. They threatened to derail his career, but somehow Mayweather kept winning. He'd step into the ring and leave his troubles behind. His focus was laser sharp when the bell rang. Outside the ring, alcohol and violence were constant temptations. They added to his bad boy image. Some fans loved it, others hated it, but it made Mayweather a polarizing figure in the sport. Through it all, his boxing skills never wavered. He kept racking up wins and titles. Mayweather's ability to compartmentalize was almost superhuman. He'd face jail time one day, then dominate in the ring the next. His rise to the top of boxing was even more impressive, considering these obstacles. Mayweather wasn't just fighting opponents. He was battling his own demons, the media, and the law. And somehow, he kept coming out on top. The Pretty Boy nickname started to fade. In its place, Money Mayweather emerged. He embraced the flashy, controversial persona. It was like he decided if he couldn't beat the bad press, he'd lean into it. But the legal troubles took their toll. Sponsorships became harder to get. Some fans turned their backs on him. Mayweather had to fight harder than ever to stay on top. Floyd's amateur success was just the beginning. The boxing world was about to witness the rise of a new superstar. On October 11th, 1996, Mayweather stepped into the pro ring for the first time. He knocked out Roberto Apodaca in the second round. It was a sign of things to come. Mayweather was climbing the ranks fast. In 1998, he got his shot at the WBC super featherweight title. He faced Genaro Hernandez, a tough opponent, but Mayweather was too quick, too skilled. He won by TKO in the 8th round. Just like that, he was a world champion. The wins kept coming. Angel Manfredi, Carlos Rios, Justin Yuko, they all fell to Mayweather's fists. His defense was something special. He'd slip punches like they weren't even there. Fans started to take notice. This kid was different, but it was the fight with Diego Corrales in 2001 that really turned heads. Mayweather dominated. He knocked Corrales down 5 times. The fight was stopped in the 10th round. It was a masterclass. Mayweather's style was evolving. He perfected the shoulder roll. He'd use it to block punches and set up his own attacks. It was beautiful to watch. Opponents couldn't touch him. As he moved up in weight classes, the challenges got tougher. In 2002, he faced Jose Luis Castillo for the lightweight title. It was a close fight. Some thought Castillo won, but Mayweather got the decision. He won the rematch too, proving his skill. By 2005, Mayweather was ready for more. He moved up to light welterweight and took on Arturo Gatti. It wasn't even close. Mayweather dominated, winning by TKO in the 6th round. Around this time, something changed. The Pretty Boy nickname started to fade. In its place, Money Mayweather was born. He started talking more trash. He flashed his cash. He turned every fight into an event. Mayweather wasn't just winning fights. He was winning at business too. In 2006, he started his own promotion company. He was taking control of his career, his brand. The money was flowing in. And boy, was there a lot of money. Mayweather's fights were generating huge pay-per-view numbers. He was topping the Forbes list of highest paid athletes. At his peak, he made $285 million in a single year. It was unprecedented in boxing. The money persona was in full effect. Mayweather's fights became more than just boxing matches. They were spectacles. People tuned in to see if someone could finally beat him. But fight after fight, Mayweather kept winning. His biggest payday came in 2015, the long-awaited fight with Manny Pacquiao. It was billed as the fight of the century. The hype was insane. The money was even crazier. Mayweather won the fight and a reported $180 million for one night's work. Mayweather's rise to the top wasn't all smooth sailing. Outside the ring, trouble followed him like a shadow. His name started popping up in police reports as much as sports headlines. In 2002, domestic violence charges hit him. The court gave him a suspended sentence and house arrest, but that was just the beginning. 2 years later, more legal drama. This time, battery charges against 2 women. The judge ordered him to get help for impulse control. Seemed like Mayweather was his own worst enemy sometimes, but in the ring he was still unstoppable. The hits kept coming though. In 2005, another battery charge for hitting a bouncer. More suspended jail time. More fines. The media was all over it. Mayweather's name was in the news for all the wrong reasons. His biggest legal battle came in 2010. His ex-girlfriend, Josie Harris, filed a domestic battery report. The charges piled up. Felony theft, coercion, robbery, and more. It was looking bad for the champ. In 2011, the hammer fell. Mayweather got 90 days in county jail for battery against Harris. He had to do community service and go to a domestic violence program too. He served 2 months before getting out in August 2012. While all this was going down, Mayweather's public image was changing. He became Money Mayweather. He'd flash his cash, brag about his wins. Some fans loved it, others hated it. But it made him a big name, for better or worse. His family life was a whole other story. His dad, Floyd Sr, and Uncle Roger both trained him at different times, but it wasn't always smooth. There were public fights and makeups. Floyd Sr once said, "Even though his daddy did sell drugs, I didn't deprive my son." It was a mess, but somehow Mayweather kept winning in the ring. Money was flowing, but so were the problems. Mayweather was making bank, over $1 billion in his career. But he was spending like crazy too. People started questioning his choices. The legal troubles didn't stop either. In 2015, Josie Harris hit him with a $20 million defamation suit. She said he lied about her being on drugs in an interview. Then in 2018, he had to pay $750,000 to settle with the SEC over some sketchy investment stuff. All these personal battles and controversies started to overshadow his boxing. People weren't just talking about his fights anymore. They were talking about his troubles too. It was like Mayweather was fighting 2 battles, one in the ring and one outside it. Mayweather once said, "People don't know the hell I've been through." He was talking about growing up with a drug-addicted mom and a dad in jail, but it seemed like the hell followed him, even when he was on top of the boxing world. Floyd Mayweather Jr. hung up his gloves in 2017. He left the ring with a perfect 50-0 record. Fans wonder if he could have done more. After boxing, Mayweather's still making moves. He's got his hands in promotions, real estate, and even strip clubs. But his impact on boxing? That's the real story. Mayweather changed how fighters approach the sport. His defense-first style made him untouchable. Young boxers study his shoulder roll like it's gospel, but some say he played it too safe, didn't take enough risks. So, did Mayweather waste his talent, or did he make the most of it? It's not an easy answer. His record speaks for itself, but his legacy? That's complicated. Boxing fans will debate it for years to come.